On this episode of the Captain's Lifestyle Podcast, I sit down with Philipp Samor Von Holtzendorff-Fehling. It's a mouthful. I know, he's from Germany. I met Philipp at the Biohacking Congress in Austin, Texas, and his talk on quantum energy and what he's created at Leela Quantum, which he's the CEO of, blew my mind. So, of course, I interviewed him so you guys could hear as well. I first discovered the quantum field when I was introduced to Dr. Joe Dispenza and attended his advanced meditation retreat. That changed my life. It was truly transformational. I do his meditations every single day. And I'm not going to try to explain to you the quantum field or quantum energy. Philipp does that, just scratches the surface of it in this episode. But from my experience, what I've noticed is that the more that I try to rationally left brain understand the quantum field and quantum energy, the more difficult it is for me to receive the benefits from it. So instead, I've just surrendered to it and accepted it and start to just experience it instead. So I understand that this episode can get a little woo-woo out there for a lot of people, especially when we talk about how time and distance no longer apply in the quantum field. So you can actually do distance healing with people by just putting a picture of them in the quantum block. I know it sounds crazy, but Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about the same thing. They do, what are they called? Coherence healings at a distance. They have people on Zoom calls and they do coherence healings through the Zoom calls. So I know it's a real thing. I've witnessed it in person at the advanced meditation retreat. It's legit. So I encourage you to go into this episode with an open mind, because if you're closed-minded and you think that there's no way that this could possibly be true, then it's not gonna click with you. And to be fair, if you would have told me these things like 3 years ago, even, I would have been like, yeah, right, you're fucking crazy. There's no way. Turns out there is a way, and it's pretty profound. In fact, I actually purchased, before recording this interview, their travel block from Leela Quantum Tech, so I can travel with it. You guys know I travel a lot. And I'm also going to use it to help heal my uncle, which, stay tuned, there's going to be a lot of cool information coming out about this. I'm not going to say too much on here, but I have chosen to heal my uncle, who has a whole bunch of chronic conditions. He's got no money, and we're going to basically take him from where he is now to thriving as good as he can be at 74. And we're going to document the whole entire process. And one of the things that I'm implementing in that is this travel block that I bought from Leela Quantum, so I can practice the distance healing. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. You guys can get the hookup on anything from Leela Quantum if you use code Captain Morgan at leelaquantum.com. I actually don't know if that's the name of the website, but the link will be in the show notes. This episode is brought to you by Bioptimizers. Specifically, the product I want to highlight is Magnesium Breakthrough. Magnesium Breakthrough plays a role in over 300 different enzymatic functions in the body. And typically, I don't recommend supplements first thing, right? Supplements are usually the tip of the iceberg, the last resort type thing. But for something like magnesium that plays such a vital role in overall health and happiness, magnesium is one of those supplements. It, in fact, is my number one most recommended supplement for this reason. It plays a role in getting better deep sleep. It plays a role in reducing stress and anxiety. So a lot of times, if you're stressed out or super anxious, it could just be because you're magnesium deficient, which up to 80% of Americans are deficient in magnesium. This is due to a lot of causes like poor farming practices or depleting our soil of nutrients. If you live an active lifestyle and you sweat, you're sweating out magnesium. So yeah, it's my number one recommended supplement. Good for sleep, good for stress, good for relieving muscle cramps, headaches, a lot of things. So you guys can get a discount on anything from Bioptimizers, including Magnesium Breakthrough, if you click the link in the show notes and use code Captain Morgan. Next up, this episode is brought to you by Aries, which is my favorite form of EMF protection. Here, I've actually got their Life Tune Zone. This is a little bit bigger of one than I normally have, the necklace that I wear. This provides up to 93 feet of protection from EMFs. And what this does is it doesn't actually block the EMFs. It's better. It draws in the chaotic energy and modulates it so it becomes less harmful to the body. It harmonizes the EMFs up to 93 feet, this specific one. I've also got one of their stickers on my laptop and another one on the back of my phone here. So I'm protected from EMFs wherever I go because my phone is with me all the time. And if your phone is with you all the time, I highly encourage you to pick up an Aries device as well, because we're just being bombarded constantly by EMF exposure that can cause things like headaches, brain fog, fatigue, irritability, trouble sleeping. A lot of things can be associated with too much exposure to EMFs. Specifically to the guys listening, EMFs have been proven to cause a decrease in sperm count and sperm quality, leading to infertility. It can also potentially be attributed to erectile dysfunction and a lowering of testosterone. It also has been shown to reduce melatonin production, which melatonin is your sleep hormone. And if you're not getting enough of that, you're not getting deep sleep specifically. And deep sleep is when your body produces testosterone and human growth hormone. So if you're not getting enough deep sleep, one can speculate that you're not getting the amount of testosterone that you should be getting. And that could be just from EMF exposure. So that's why I protect myself wherever I am in my room. Like I said, I've got this LifeTune Zone. You guys can use code Captain Morgan and click the link in the show notes to get I believe it's 20% discount on anything from Aries. On a similar note, this episode is brought to you by Lambs, my favorite EMF blocking clothing. I wear them every single time I fly. I deck myself out head to toe. I've got their beanie, their shirt, their underwear, which I'm actually wearing right now to protect my balls from this oxidative stress. And if you do go through the airport, you are going to have to get patted down, because I've gone through the scanner before and it shows up as if my whole body is metal, right? Because I've got their beanie, shirt, underwear. And so you will have to get patted down, which is what I recommend anyways, to opt out of the TSA security screener. So you avoid those EMFs. And what Lambs does is it actually blocks 99% of the electromagnetic fields. So oftentimes I'll sleep with their beanie pulled over my head just as an extra precaution. And that also helps block out some artificial light, which can disrupt your sleep. And I wear their underwear every single time I use my laptop on your lap. So if you carry your phone in your pocket, if you use your laptop on your actual lap, guys, you're frying your balls. Ladies, you are destroying your eggs. And I recorded an episode with the founder of Lambs where he talked about how that could potentially be irreversible, which I don't believe that now, knowing what I know about the quantum field and Dr. Joe Dispenza, and basically anything is curable, but it makes it more difficult if you're frying your bits down there. So I protect myself with Lambs. You guys can as well if you use code Captain Morgan at getlambs.com. Lastly, this episode is brought to you by HVMN, specifically their Ketone IQ shots, which I was taking at the Biohacking Congress where I met Philipp, because during our lunch breaks, I didn't want to take a lunch break because I wanted to connect with and interview and learn from all of the amazing speakers there. So I was just taking shots of Ketone IQ, because one of the perks of ketones is that they can reduce hunger cravings. So another added perk is that it helps with mental clarity. So not only does it release or reduce the hunger cravings, it also improves my mental focus and clarity, and also physical endurance. I take them before workouts, and it provides long-lasting, clean, smooth energy without any crash afterwards. You guys can get the hookup on Ketone IQ if you use code CaptainMorgan_20. All right, now let's dive into today's interview with Philipp. All right. I am going to try my best to pronounce your name. I took 3 years of German. Oh, wow. So here's what we got. Philipp Samor Von Holtzendorff-Fehling.
Yeah.
Fehling.
Absolutely. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Perfect. Awesome. Welcome to the Captain's Lifestyle Podcast. I'm very excited that I get the opportunity to connect with you on a deeper level after the talk that you gave, the opening talk of the Biohacking Congress. I was blown away, because ever since I had attended advanced meditation retreat with Dr. Joe Dispenza, learned more about quantum energy and the quantum field, this blew my mind. And then when I went over and tried it at your booth, I stuck my hand in here, and after a few minutes, I started to vibrate. I was like, there's something to this. This is real. So give us a quick backstory of how you discovered quantum energy and the quantum field.
Yeah, that was my own journey, frankly. In the early 2000s, I was still in corporate. I realized I cut myself off my own emotions and feelings, and I was pretty unhappy in my life at the time. So then I decided to get into meditation, into yoga, started reading about energetics. I booked the first shamanic workshop I went through, and then I booked more shamanic workshops and learned past life regression work. I learned various energy healing techniques. And in between, I got to know my wife, who was born with the ability to see aura and energy fields. And on a very granular level, frankly, like she can literally like read people to an extent that also would blow your mind.
You could bring her in here.
Yeah, you could talk to her later. But and that wasn't always the greatest thing in our relationship at first, frankly, because she could see anything, like anything that was going on with me.
Can't hide.
Exactly. And sometimes you don't want to like show everything really, but what that helped me with is really to get deeper and deeper into the understanding that there's way more than we're taught to believe. And I've awakened basically to that fact. And then at some point was able to work with quantum energy and frequencies myself. And I've gotten to know some of the most amazing healers across the globe that are like in this space. Like I'm talking the top absolute 0.01% of gifted healers. And at some point in 2016, I said, okay, I'm done with corporate. I can't do that anymore because it was a stretch for me, because I had to be myself fully all the time and live from my heart and do whatever, is my calling and not someone else's like profit run. And and then we came into the quantum technology, which the vision was really, if healers can work with someone and use the quantum field and specific information frequencies to bring systems that are out of balance into balance again, because that's in essence what they do on an energetic and physical level, should be possible with products. So then we started to work on that and develop the block technology, which concentrates pure quantum energy in a way never seen before, really, at least not publicly available. Maybe it's hidden somewhere with some people. And that opened up new doors, because not only can you leverage that quantum energy, we can also introduce specific frequencies and information and combine it with that tech that adds another level. And we can get into the details, but that in a nutshell was my journey. And aside from that, a little bit in parallel, my wife had been diagnosed with chronic Lyme disease at some point. And then the doctor said, you have this and, you can't do anything, can't heal it. And she realized she had it since 5 years, because she realized in that very moment when that tick bite happened. And long story short, like we completely healed it. Like she has nothing left, no symptoms, no leftover, no arthritis, which, at the time, like she was really bad. And that worked on multiple levels. I mean, it was a teacher for her personally, because, really a disease can teach us something. And it also helped me to always find the next best thing in biohacking and in bioenergy hacking, which culminated ultimately in the quantum technology.
Got it. Before we get into what we have here, 30,000 foot overview, what is the quantum field and quantum energy?
Yeah. So I try to not be too scientific about that, because most people aren't really. Yeah. So it's the energy behind the matter, and it's the energy that we have in each of our cells. So we are 90% water. Hard to believe if I look at myself, but it's true. And we all kind of know that. But then behind water and everything, physical that we see, it's 99% space. Yeah. However, that 99% space isn't empty. It's just not physical or material, but there's quantum energy behind it. And that's in essence what it is. And there's another way, you can tap into that if you just close your eyes, you breathe, you feel your body, and then try to feel like out here. And lot of people that have done meditation, they will probably tap into that right away. Others, for you, it may take a little longer, but that's also another way to tap into this energy, because we're not just physical. And frankly, I need to bring out Tesla real quick, because Tesla told us, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, you need to think in terms of energy, vibration, and frequency. And I say, yes, absolutely. That's such a great statement.
Yeah. I really want to dial this in for the listeners. So you said we're about 90% water, which most people are aware. Like, they've heard that stat. We're 70 to 90% water. But really, when you zoom in on an atom, there's nothing, right? There's nothing in between the electrons and all the things, right? So that is what you're saying is the quantum energy.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. All right. Try to wrap your head around that. We are mostly nothing, which is, I put nothing in air quotes because of course it is something, which is what we're going to get into. Yeah. Yes. All right. And I absolutely felt that when I was at the advanced meditation retreat. It took me a while because, funny story, before we attended the advanced meditation retreat, he would send us a video course that we would have to do. And the first meditation was like 40 minutes after watching a series of courses explaining it. And this was really my first intro into meditation. And for me to sit down in a chair and sit still was one of the hardest things that I had ever done up until that point. And I was like, why is this so difficult to me? It felt like torture because my brain was trying to do everything that my normal routine was doing, right? Like, I got to check this email. I got to go make dinner. Like, did I do this? Did I do that?
Yeah.
And I just forced myself to just sit, and I started sweating, and it was like, oh my goodness. Like, so then anyways, at the meditation retreat, I was able to tap into the quantum field, and it's profound. So let's start with the block. What do we have here? What is this? How does it work? What can it do?
For the ones that can see it, so that's the so-called quantum block. That's the weakest of our blocks. But it's already pretty powerful. So it has this concentrated quantum energy space inside that's multidimensional. And inside, distance and time don't matter. So we can do a lot of fun things within this space, actually. And it has also a field outside of the plates. So this whole room, whole home, basically, a regular home would be harmonized energetically. And that's not just some woo, it's, it harmonizes EMF, for example. That's just one of the things that just does naturally, because EMFs are harmful, potentially harmful for consciousness, actually. Even, that's a rabbit hole. It's not rightly phrased, but at least to the everything physical, it can be detrimental.
Yes.
And the waveform patterns that are usually detrimental are being harmonized in a way that suddenly all the effects that you can usually measure of EMF on your body, you can't measure anymore because there's no negative effects anymore. So your blood suddenly improves, your heart rate variability improves. A lot of things improve just by you being in the field. And that's the first thing that it does. And then there's a lot of more use cases, what you can use it for. If the field is very strong inside, if you put your hand inside, it works faster and stronger than when we're sitting here. But just by sitting here, we're already having a benefit.
What would those benefits be?
Benefits have been measured as optimization of the heart rate variability in all cases that it was measured, improvement of blood, and we're talking significant improvement.
Like circulation?
Yeah, so oxygenation in the blood, the red blood cells get away from clotting. So even stage 1 and stage 2 of blood clotting can be reversed completely with that. So the so-called money rolls are disappearing so that the cells can be on their own in a really healthy state. It has a positive impact on the cell membranes. the white blood cell activity and motility increases, which that's, part of our immune system force.
Yeah.
And Wi-Fi can paralyze these white blood cells. So if you introduce a block while you're in Wi-Fi, suddenly the paralyzation effect is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Even things like parasitic load in the blood were measured to decrease significantly. I mean, they even measured 80% decrease within 10 minutes in some cases, which is quite significant. Then they did biowell testing, and just recently an ATP study was done. So they looked at ATP production, which is, that's the currency of the body. Basically, it's the energy production of each individual cell, and you can measure that. It's a very physical test, actually. And so the lab that tested it was able to show that beyond any doubt, our tech was able to improve and increase ATP production by 20 to 25%, which is absolutely significant.
Yes.
So, I texted Dave Asprey one day after that study, and he replied back, that is absolutely amazing. And he hasn't seen anything in his whole biohacker life that gets even up to 20%.
And what was that? Like, what was studied? Like, what caused? Was it this?
Yeah. So, well, it was our technology. In this case, we actually worked over distance, which is even more mind-boggling.
Yes.
It couldn't have mattered whether it's, from China to the US or Australia to wherever, if it's 500 miles away, that actually does not matter. But it was really our technology, the block technology, that we tested. And it was with specific cell cultures. So hundreds of thousands of cells in a control group and another hundreds of thousands of cells in the group that was charged. And it was double blinded. So the professor that ran the experiment had no idea which was charged, which was not. There was a third person that knew which was charged and not, but he didn't participate in the actual experiment. So that way it was 100% clear what was going on. Yeah.
Nice. And when did those results get published? You said that finished a few days ago.
Yeah, I hope in the next 60 days.
Okay.
Yeah. And we publish everything, over time as we can. And so another one was an clinical study in India with autistic children, 42 of them. And, it was able to show a significant decrease in so-called ADDIC scores, which measured everything in regards to attention span, language and speaking skills. Autistic kids often have the problem they can't speak. And they also live sort of in an alternate reality, like they're not present in the here and now.
Yeah. And
so the energy of the blocks is able to get them more into the presence. And I think that is actually also the reason why these other benefits occur, like, the blood and all that, but also for the kids, the attention span, the focus, the language and speaking skills, just because it pulls them more really into being here and into their optimal self. And then, I think another interesting study, which was not done on humans, but on water, was the Emoto Institute in Japan, which a lot of people have heard about it. They were the first ones to show how you can visualize energy in water and with crystals that, in frozen water. And they tested our blocks. And this quantum block here, which is the weakest, was able to improve water faster than any device or method they tested before. And then they called us up and asked us if they could distribute our products in Japan, which then we were like, sure. I mean, of course, which they've never done with any other products because they don't usually sell products. They're a lab institute really for research. But they saw, what's possible with this. And they just wanted to get it out to the Japanese people. Yeah. Which, tells me more than just some study results.
Yeah, 100%. So putting water in here, it structures it?
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay. Do you have any studies on HRV? That was the first thing that you mentioned.
Yep, we do. Yeah. So HRV was tested multiple times with the product, and then a specific test even with this Heal capsule here, which I just gave you and which people may be able to see here. where they also looked at before test, and then they looked at what happens with heart rate variability when you introduce Wi-Fi. It actually gets worse, and then you leave Wi-Fi on and give people the capsule, and then you can measure suddenly that the effects are, it neutralizes the effects of EMF in that sense. And so that was done, I think, by the EGIF Institute out of Europe. That's the largest European testing institute for EMF. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So let's do a little live unpackaging here. So as I'm doing this, tell me, walk me through it. What do we?
Oh, you got the.
What do we got?
Take the golden one, because that looks cooler than the black one. Golden. I mean, unless you.
No, I mean, I got gold zipper. We're gonna do the gold for sure.
Yeah. So you.
All right. So this is the chain.
Yep. Take the capsule out and unscrew the top from the bottom. And in the capsule, there are specific frequencies. So we have some etheric frequencies in there that are, basically they activate your inner healer. And then you find molecular frequencies in there that are from about almost 80 important vitamins and minerals and organic plant extracts for the human body. So it's the information. A frequency is the same as information, for the listeners out there. And it's the information of the vitamin C, the information of the vitamin D, the information of this, and that. That's all helpful for the body. And it has amazing effects. For everyone out there, so if you take a vitamin C pill, what ends up in the core of the cell is not the vitamin C substance, it's the information of the vitamin C. So what we do now is it's called frequency medicine, that you can bypass in many cases with great efficacy, actually, the physical process and just provide the information directly. That's in essence what this does.
This capsule.
Yeah. With the frequencies it contains. Yeah. And then the beads there, you take those out, they're charged with just pure quantum energy. And what they do when you put them into this capsule, they will boost out the frequencies into a larger field. So then you have like almost a radius of 2 meters, which is, like 6 feet something, 6.5 feet or so. And then if you have it in your pocket, or ideally you wear it around the neck even, because that has the greatest effect, then your whole system can leverage it.
So how do you charge it with quantum energy?
We use our blocks for that.
Okay.
Yes, and the frequencies we develop together with our healer network. And that's in essence how we do it.
And how do the blocks get the quantum energy?
Yeah, I get the question.
That's the question.
That's the only question I unfortunately can't answer.
Yep. I have to ask, because I know people are gonna ask me. And
no.
What is your best explanation?
Well, we work with a team of absolutely top-notch healers together, and a team of scientists, and we just found a way on how to concentrate that field in a way no one else has done it before, and in a way to also, dynamically increase the field. That's as far as I can go.
Got it. All right. So now I am double or triple protected from EMFs, because the shirt, the Aries, and now this. And then you can also, there's different options for these, right? Like there's like a male optimization one, correct?
Yeah. Man's booster, women's booster, those are for men or women over 40 specifically. They work on like testosterone levels and stuff like that. And then this is the Heal Capsule. That's the all-rounder, that's the one to go to. That's probably also the product I would recommend to start with first, if you want to like get into this and see what it does for you. Because the blocks they're cheap for what they do, but of course it's a different price point, and you may not want to jump right into that. Check out the capsule first and, see what it does.
Yeah. When talking about price, we have to think of the value that you're being provided, right? So most people are going to be skeptical about this type of thing, right? Quantum energy, it's not quite mainstream yet. So in order for them to get the benefits, it's smart to come out with a lower tier product so they can see and then Now let's talk about what this does. So this, you mentioned that distance and time don't matter, right?
In the field, indeed, they don't matter. Yeah.
So you can put a picture of somebody in here
Yep.
who's across the world.
Yep.
And it has an effect on them.
Yes, they are in the field in the moment the picture is inside. Indeed, yes, and that's been proven with randomized double-blind studies. So I'm not just saying that because we can see that energetically. No, you can actually physically prove it.
Okay.
You can look at the blood. You can do ATP studies. You can do all kinds of things to actually measure that.
Talk to us about some of your favorite examples of distance healing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've had multiple people that had issues where they didn't feel good. And they asked, could you put my mother in the block? Or, I need to fly to the US in 2 days, but I'm sick. So, and they won't let me fly like this. So can you put me in? So those are some of the examples. I personally liked an example for myself. I used to play tennis on a national level, and then I really stopped doing that, and then haven't played for a year and a half. But before that, I actually, again, had like a year break almost. And then I played some, and then the guys in the club said, hey, we have the club championships coming up. Do you want to participate? I'm like, no, I'm just not really interested. Come on, you got to do it. And then I did it, played my first game and played terrible, absolutely terrible. And then I had my next game, but I won. And then the next game I had, was supposed to be just 2 hours later. And then I was like, damn, I mean, you have this technology, so why don't I put just my photo in the block? I had it in the car, my infinity block, and put my photo in there. And then I played like a young god. Honestly, like I played amazing. And
Wow.
as I've never stopped playing tennis. And of course, that's anecdotal, but everyone can experiment these things, frankly. And it makes sense because we can now measure that your ATP production increases, that your blood is better, you're just energetically more present. So which obviously helps to pull in your best self. And it's not that you won't have bad days with that, right? So if you have a bad day, it makes your day less bad. And if you have a good day, it makes it a great day or a great performance. And now we see that with several athletes, actually, some world champions, famous gold medalists that are using this tech to get the extra juice out of their body, to have a great performance.
So if I wanted to use this on someone from a distance, so like in the work that I'm familiar with the quantum field and meditation,
yeah,
you have to be focusing on them and like thinking about your intention, like what you want for them.
Yeah.
For this, you just put the picture in and they just get better, or how does that process work?
Yeah, so you don't have to do anything other than putting the picture in and then they're in the field. But you can add intentions. As long as they're not bad intentions, you can add those, but those wouldn't do anything because the quantum field neutralizes those. So let's say you put a picture of a guy in there and you write down, you break your leg in a week, right? I mean, that's like
so this can't be done. This no voodoo.
It does not work because and that's nothing we did, frankly. It's the pure quantum energy field that it's nature to support anything regarding life and consciousness, and whatever is destructive or harmful to life and consciousness, it neutralizes just flat out. It can't be any other way.
Does that explain the effect that it has on EMF? It just neutralizes.
Yeah,
the EMF.
That's exactly right. If you put herbicides or pesticides in there, same thing. It neutralizes it. You couldn't copy it into water and then drink like a harmful frequency substance. It just doesn't work. So yeah, that's in a nutshell how it works. But so as I said, you can still add intentions. For example, if someone is down with a broken leg already, and then you put the picture in, that already helps. But you can write, Alex leg heals twice as fast as usual, or something, or is just healing for Alex's leg. Just adding that intention could further amplify it.
Got it. Okay. And you also mentioned that this is fascinating as well, that you can put foods in there that people have reactions to, allergic reactions. And there's been many cases now, not studies, but cases of people who have had gluten intolerance, for example, and then have been able to consume gluten?
That is correct. And before I get into that, for this specific topic, I must say, don't try it at home, please, because we don't have enough data points. And I seriously mean that, because if you have a severe allergy, there's so many different substances, so many different people, and there's more data needed. But right now, everything points to that you can create a reduction in allergy response between 70 to 100%. And it's been shown by many, many different people. And by some people, they've shown it over and over again in a way where we even showed it officially at the biohacking conference a year and a half ago in Orlando, live on stage in front of 100 people, where crab meat was put in the arm of biohacker Todd, who's severely allergic to crab meat, and he got the instant reaction. It got all red and itchy and all that, and people could see it. And the same crab meat they put in the infinity block for a few minutes, and after that, they put it in his right arm, no reaction, right? We have this guy that, could never consume lemon, not even a drop of lemon. Now he took a full spoon of lemon juice and he could tolerate it with no problem. And his kinesiological doctor actually tested then a lemon that was charged for him and a lemon that was not charged. And the doctor had no idea that something was done to one of the lemons. Yeah. And one lemon tested as negative, the other tested as not neutral, but actually positive. Can you imagine that to him? So it made his system stronger. So now we had done a pilot study in Munich in Germany with the clinic there that specialized on treating allergies and all of that. And they found this reduction in allergy response. That's absolutely significant across all kinds of different substances, but it was a pilot study. So it was just a few people. And yes, the findings are great, but we need to have a lot more people. And that's what's going on right now. But it's my favorite subject right now to dig in, because I think if we can solve some of those issues, that would be just amazing for people.
Yeah, 100%. Two more questions for you before we wrap up. First, what are you most excited about? We kind of already touched on that. Is it the food sensitivity?
Yeah, it's the research in general, but right now it's indeed the food sensitivity. That's really where I want to find out. I want to get to the point where we can say, okay, if you have a gluten intolerance, do this, charge it for 4 minutes, and then you can expect a reduction in allergy response between 80 and 100% or 70 and 100% or whatever it is, right? And provide that guidance. I think that's, for me, really key. And I think the community we have, I'm excited about. We have almost 6,500 active members in our private Telegram group. And it's all people with good vibes that, and they discover new things every day, and they're sharing and learning. And that's how we get to all the new findings, because, hey, there's this naturopathic doctor that works with urine therapy. I've never done that. I don't feel called to ever try that, but hey, there's people out there that do that. And then, so they charged the urine in the block, and they found amazing results with it and stuff like that. Like you never hear if you don't have a community that's actively discovering these things. And that's what I am excited about. Yeah.
Love it. Last question. What does thriving mean to you?
Well, to live a healthy life where you're happy, and you get up and you have you want to be in the world and live a life that you like and can enjoy, and where you can spread the joy with others and, do fun things and also move the needle in a little bit,
That's what it's all about, right? Perfect. All right. Well, you guys listening can get a 10% discount on anything here. I definitely recommend these necklaces. What were these ones called? The Heal Capsule?
Heal Capsule, correct.
And then there's different versions. Correct.
Of the Heal Capsule, only one version, and the other ones are called Men's Booster and Women's Booster.
Got it. Okay. And those, I imagine, work specifically on male and female hormones.
That's correct. And they only contain molecular frequencies, and they're a little bit cheaper than the Heal Capsule. The Heal Capsule is really the all-around product, and it works for men, women, little kids, old grandfathers, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Got it. And what's there's like a 3-tier one of this. What's that one called?
That's the Infinity Block.
The Infinity Block.
Yeah, that's stronger, way more powerful.
So that's what I stuck my hand in for a few minutes at the booth. Yeah. And My hand like felt like it was vibrating, similar to the feeling that I had in the advanced meditation retreat. Because as we said, that the quote from Nikola Tesla at the beginning, like vibration, frequency, I felt amazing after that. So use code Captain Morgan 10 to get the hookup on anything from Leela Quantum Tech. Correct?
Yep.
All right. Philip, thank you for coming on the Captain's Lifestyle
Awesome.
Podcast.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah.